Hey there, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, so today I just wanted a quick little video on kind of going through the whole saga of Robinhood traders and GameStop. So as you're all aware, is we had basically people on Reddit bulletin boards deciding that, hey, we want to focus on buying shares of companies that are heavily shorted, forcing a short squeeze, hence the shares will go up, et cetera, et cetera. So we've had a lot of this activity going on. And so today is kind of interesting. Today we will see what the result of all that is. So we've had a lot of volatility here. We've had the price go up, down, all over the place. So let's check out a chart of this and see what's happening today with it. So we're going to go right here. Yeah, so here we are. Here's the GMA here. And today we're down 137 points, down 61%. So yeah, this is what happens. So I think that this is beyond any other thing. This looks like a classic, just a simple classic pump and dump. So it's a situation where back here, this company's trading, nothing going on. Like in this whole range over here, June, July, August, it's like $5, and then it goes up to $10. And then somewhere in here, it starts going just crazy. And then, so somewhere in here, all this stuff came out on the bulletin boards and just sent it through the roof. So basically it was pumped. And I know it's really hard to see, but the price here is really high because I'm on a log scale. So let's just do this. Let's turn the log scale off. Okay. And we're going to see here. And yeah, so if we turn the log scale off, and I want to turn the volume off. Let's see, where's my volume? Oh, volume below. Okay, update. Okay. Yeah, so here we have our GameStop. And so basically the thing does nothing, right? So now this is a linear chart. And then it just, basically what's really interesting here is I don't know when the bulletin board stuff started, but I suspect the big activity didn't start happening until, here, let's use this, somewhere in here, like January 26th, and then after that to 27th. Somewhere in there is where this activity started. But what's really interesting, way back here, you had this bump up on January 13th. You had already a bunch of buying activity. And then you had nothing. This was like basically a dead stock before this. And all of a sudden you get a little like buying and stuff like that, moving it from, it was down in here like $5, $10 up to 20 to 40. And then all of a sudden it just goes apocalyptic here and it just goes through the roof. And then we just have this incredible volatility here. And so now when we zoom in on this, what we'll see here, yeah, so we zoom in on this period of time out here, and you can see it just goes crazy. And then, you have moves here. It's like 100, the high was like 150. And then the next day it opens up at 350. And then the next day it has a wide range all the way from a peak of 480 all the way down to 80. And then you have like more high volatility the next day. And then it kind of just starts selling off from these highs in the 400s and 300s. And then today is where we're at today. We're down 142 points, down 63%. So here's like, so this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but this to me, based on what I'm seeing, looks like just a classic pump and dump. So back here, you take a stock that is got no activity. And in this case, there was added activity, added bonus is that it was heavily shorted. The reports are that I'm seeing from people is 140% of the float was shorted. So that's massive. That means that these people are exposed to infinite losses. As the stock goes up and the more it goes up, they are getting margin calls to add more money or close the position because the broker's on the hook. Because if you're short it, you have to go out and buy at the current market price to return those shares. You have to return those shares. So whoever is behind this used some incredible, brilliant strategy to pick something that was heavily shorted, use the modern social media, Get everyone involved, everyone behind it, mask it, make it look and sound that, hey, this is a like Robin Hood stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, and this egalitarian thing and all this stuff. Market it all up on the bulletin boards, get a bunch of people behind it, and then bam, jam this thing up from $20 to as high as $480. And then now look what happens. It's coming all the way back down, and it's down about 80 right now. Now, sure, it can go up 200 points tomorrow. Still plenty of volatility, but mark my words, it'll be back at 20 and then it'll go to 0 at some point. And so the thing I want to highlight here is that this isn't different. This is not different. You look at it and people say this is a new movement or all this other crap. This is nothing different. You read operators' reminiscences of a stock operator going back into the late 1800s. This is the same thing that's been going on through all time. This is what's called a pump and dump. You take a stock, you buy some right here, you buy some, and then you pump, and then you pump. However it is, you spread rumors, do whatever you have to do. That's what they do. They do whatever they have to do to get people to buy that stock so that when they can put an order in, they bought it out here. They probably accumulated a bunch out here at $5, get a little out of control here, buying some up to $20, $40, then put limits to sell at 400, at 480, at 300. I mean, they were probably surprised at how far it went, right? So that's the pump and dump. Someone buys a stock that's dirt cheap at nothing, then basically create misinformation, pump it up, get excitement about it. So other people come in and buy it, and then they sell into it and make a boatload of money. So this was like an incredibly good pick in terms of finding something that was way overshorted. This is incredibly good method for doing the pump and dump and using social media and bulletin board. These are bulletin boards basically to do this. But it's important to understand that this is a pump and dump. So if you got in this and you're up in here, anywhere in here, it's not coming back. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you. But if you're sitting there and you bought it at 420 or 380 or 280 and you're holding, go look at the charts yourself, do your own research, but it doesn't come back. It doesn't come back. So this is a classic pump and dump. And I always find this amazing because people after people after people think that things are different now, especially with, technology changed things. I'm a technology guy. I'm a bloody electrical engineer. I'm knee deep in technology. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change a thing. So go talk to your financial advisor, whatever. If you get some of this, basically it's a write-off because this is the pump and dump. And then what's going to happen now? I don't know. But there'll be some investigations. And I know that you're thinking like, the SEC is going to try to beat up the little guy and all this. And yeah, there may be an element to that. But this wasn't a little guy. You're thinking it's a little guy. You know what? What if it turns out that there were people on the inside in hedge funds that were members of this board? What if it turns out it doesn't even have to be hedge funds, very sophisticated people, unsophisticated people that had a plan. This is our pump and dump. Think about it. You're sitting there thinking you're taking it to the Wall Street. You're sticking it to them. We don't know. No one knows who was behind all this stuff. Think about it. You may have just played into the biggest sucker bet in modern history. Think about it. This is what's all to come out. So as part of this channel, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to question the questions. I'm trying to understand and just try to help people to look at something from a different perspective and try to ask questions so that, we all can learn together. I'm not an expert in anything. Okay. But that's what this could be. I think that the way I'll say it is this: you have to entertain the fact that it is very well possible that this was engineered by some really big money. So, and do your own research, go through the charts of other pump and dumps. It doesn't end well. So that's it for this episode. Just wanted to bring that up. And I'm going to stop and go one more aspect to this. I'm going to go one more aspect, and I know I always do this with my channel. I get a little disorganized, but there's an aspect that I want to talk. If you look at one of my earlier videos, I was talking about trying to buy puts, and I wasn't able to buy them. And the reason was I put the price in low. I didn't want to overpay for that put. Now, if you're a person and you're like, hey, I can see this is crazy, it's going to go down, and I want to benefit, and I'm in some type of retirement account, or I don't have margin, so I cannot actually short the shares. And matter of fact, even if you did have a margin account, you're like 280 a share, it's really hard to short, right? And you're saying, okay, I'm going to buy a put, so I'll get the benefit of it going down because the put should go up in value. That's now the second aspect here to really keep in mind. When I was looking, those are so expensive. Those puts and calls both were so expensive that the people selling you those calls guaranteed to win. It is highly likely that if I bought, depending where I bought it, I could have paid so much for that put that even now that I'm $200 in the money, I still may not be positive. It is quite possible that I still may not be positive. Okay, I still may lose money in that position, even though I moved from out of the money to in the money, or the stock moved 200 points in my direction. So that's called, you looking at the options, look at the implied volatility, right? And you look at how much that option costs. You get the tools that you can plot the option price to see how it's moving over time, how expensive it is. Okay, so that's the other aspect. So if you're looking at this and you're saying, like, I'm going to try to benefit on the downside, okay, fine. If you're doing your research and you know what you're doing, fine. But when you're looking at those options to do it, it can be very tough, because the pricing I was seeing on many of those options were like, hey, it moved 63, 142 points in my direction, and I still am behind on the option. Because what happens? What happens at some point down here, this pricing is going to get back into this level. And what's the volatility down here? It's very low. So all that pricing comes out of the option, all the volatility. In other words, when this thing spikes up, all pricing of all the options, both sides, calls it put, the price of those go up because the implied volatility is just a measure of how much it's moving every day. And because it's moving so much, the price of all these options goes up, up, up. And if you're buying it during that time, right? You're buying it during that time, you're overpaying. And so now, even if you pick the right direction, even if you pick the right time, you still have to overcome the fact that you were paying too much for those options. So if you did that, well, good luck to you. Hopefully it worked out. But that's one of the dangers of options. Like, who's making the money on most of the options? The people that are making the money are the institutions that are writing the options. Because if you get more into options and do your own research, there's different strategies where you buy both the call and a put. Well, why the heck would you buy both a call and a put? You're betting it to go both ways? Well, what are you doing? Well, if you're over here and there's no volatility, yeah, buy both a put and a call, right? Because all you're betting then is that there's volatility. One of them is going to go up, one goes to worthless, one goes up. So if you were, for example, if some option guys are like, here, I've bought both puts and calls, they may have made money if they did it right. They may have made money because it didn't matter. Yeah, the call went. So when the price went up, the call went to infinity, the put went to zero, but it went so much because of the implied volatility. And then if you're up here in this incredibly volatile range, who's going to make money on that? Someone that's selling. Up there, if professional money managers, not managers, but like traders and people like running option just, market maker type people, there you sell as many calls and puts as you can. Sell, because you're selling them at high prices. You're selling them an implied volatility of 500 over here. And when you get back down to here, your implied volatility went from 500 to 50. You're going to pocket the 450 of implied volatility. And that directly will be the price of that option. So it's very difficult. It's not easy. So one of the things that I've learned over years of trading and mistrading is that, you really want to pick what you want to do, and you have to kind of get educated about it. Because if you just go out there, and this is, I assume that the Robinhood crowd is getting their butts kicked because they're just blindly buying calls. Is what it sounds like. They're just I'm going to buy calls, buy calls. Oh, you bought calls. You're buying calls out here. You're paying too much. You're buying calls here. You're paying so much money, and that's the other side, right? Oh, I bought calls here. Oh, I made it to 480 and I sold my call and I still lost money. maybe the volatility didn't expand that much from here to here, so I gained nothing. So yeah, so that's it for this one. So I think that, so all I'm doing is to summarize, just sharing a perspective that there may be more to this than people are thinking about. There could very well be, and we don't know, that it could very well be very professional inside type people, connected people, Wall Street, mainstream companies involved in this thing. We don't know. So when the investigations come out and the charges are filed, let's just try to maybe suggest kind of keep an open mind, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. All right, that is now officially it for this one. So thanks for stopping by. Bye.